Good evening. It's Annie Sorrell here, numerologist, emotional wellbeing counsellor, and meditation teacher. And so on this last day of February, I'm going to be talking about the energies that are going to be prevalent in March, and also a little bit of backstory about, therefore, the possible challenges and the possibilities for us, the directions in which life might be encouraging us to grow this in March. So let's just start by getting a bit grounded and centered, letting go of your day and coming back home to yourself. So you might just like to start by tuning into your body and gently closing your eyes. Noticing how the floor is supporting your feet, how whatever you're sitting or lying on is supporting your body, and letting yourself settle into that support. Noticing the feeling of clothes against your skin and air against other parts of your body. Being aware of air gently flowing in and out of your nostrils. And you might even sense a gentle beating of your heart. Just having a sense of letting go of the external world and coming home to yourself, coming home to your body, bringing your awareness back to your body in the here and now. And you might like to notice how your body is feeling, just doing a gentle scan. First of all, feeling into your head and neck and shoulders, down into your arms and hands and fingers, noticing your chest and abdomen, pelvic area, and your back, all the way down to the base of your spine. Just noticing how that's feeling. And then bringing your awareness to your thighs, dropping down to your lower legs, ankles and feet. Just saying hello to your body. And you might even like to imagine residing within your body, settling down in the chest area, in your heart center, or maybe down in your abdomen. Getting more of a sense of being with yourself. And you might like to imagine that with your breath, with each inhalation, you're breathing in calm and relaxation. And with each exhalation, letting go of anything that wants to leave. And gently coming back and opening your eyes when you're ready. So this day, the 28th of February, 2022, actually, it's a 9-day, is it? Let me just check. 1, 2. Yes, it's a 9-day. And so 9 is always a great letting go. 9 is the completion of a cycle and the making way for new beginnings. We have to let go of the old to make way for the new. Just like if we're going to put in a new garden, first of all, we have to weed the ground, so sieve out any rocks or roots or pebbles, and just create nice fertile soil, and then we plant the new seeds or the seedlings. And so the 9-month is that preparing of the soil ready to, or the 9 energy, ready in the 1 energy that follows 9 to plant the new beginnings. So March this year is a 9-month, which means that sense of endings, of bringing things to completion, bringing things to fruition, is going to be an undercurrent to the month. And whatever our personal month might be, that is the global energy. And we calculate that simply by adding 3, the number of March, to 2022, which is the number for the year. The whole year is a 6-year, which is about love and home and family and responsibility. So that is the undercurrent globally for the year. That is the energy that is affecting everyone globally for the year. The 3 energy, the 9 energy, is affecting everyone as a backdrop for the year. And what's in the foreground will be your personal year number. And so I'll just go through how we calculate that right now. So what you need to do is calculate your personal year number first of all. So that's the governing energy for you this year against the backdrop of this global 6 energy. And so to calculate your personal number, your personal year number, you add together the day of your birth with the month of your birth, and you add that to what the year number is this year, which is 2022. So, for example, if you were born on the 1st of April, you add together 1 plus 4, which is 5, plus 2022. And 5 and 6 is 11. That adds up to 11 over 2, which is how we would write it. Then we would call it a 2 personal year. If you were born, say you've got double digits in your day number and your month number. So if you were born on the 14th of December, you add together 1 plus 4 is 5 for the 14th, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. So that makes 3, and 5 is 8. And then you add the 6 of the 2022. So 8 and 6 is 14, 1 and 4 is 5. So you add them, keep adding the numbers together. Once you've added up the numbers in the day and the month and the year, you get a total. If it's a double digit, then you add the double digit together to reduce it to a single digit. So just one more example. Say you were born the 12th of June, so 1 and 2 is 3, plus 6 for June, plus 2022, which adds up to 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12. And then you reduce that to a single digit. 1 and 2 is 3. So for some of you, when you add that up, you are going to find that you are in a 9-month. So your personal year number, yes, a 6-year, sorry, we're just calculating the years there, so that you're in a 6-year, the same as the global numbers. So what I'm going to talk about in a minute about global energies will be your number as well personally. So that's how you calculate what year your personal year number is, and it just rolls over each year. So if you're in a 6-year this year, it'll be a 7-year next year, then an 8-year, then a 9-year, then we're back to a 1-year. To work out what month you're in, then you just add, for those people who are in a 6-year, you just add 6 plus 3, because March is the 3rd month of the year. 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what the 9 energy that predominates, as I say, the undercurrent for this month for everyone, what that means. And then we're going to do a little bit of healing around that, advanced healing. And then we'll go on to look at the personal year numbers for the other 8 years. Okay, so as I was saying, 9 is the number of completion. In numerology, there are 9 key numbers. There are also the master numbers, but we won't talk about those tonight. But the 9 key numbers are 1 to 9, and they each number represents a certain energy. So 1 is independence, 2 is connection, 3 is creativity, 4 is solid foundations, 5 is change, 6 is home and family, 7, sorry, I've just got something coming in there. 7 is spirituality, 8 is power, and 9 is unconditional love and compassion. So the meanings of the numbers sort of cover the key elements of life, and ultimately where they're leading us, we have all these different energies. Ultimately, they're leading us to the 9 energy, which is kind of the ultimate energy, where it's all about forgiveness and letting go, clearing the space, like I was saying about gardens before, to make room for unconditional love and compassion. That's primarily what the 9 energy is about. So if March could be a letting go of the need for war, letting go of fear around the globe, bringing to completion some talks around peace, around global warming, around addressing COVID, it would be fabulous. Maybe we'll make some steps in that direction. I somehow don't think that's all going to happen in 30 days. So 9 is multi-talented. It has the energies of all the preceding numbers within it as well. So as well as it being a great time for letting go of the past, for forgiveness, it's also a great time for bringing to completion projects that might have been begun even 9 years ago, or might have been begun last year, coming to completion in March. It's a great time for exploring your creativity, for researching information, for improving your intuition and your connection to all that is. It's a great time for coming more into your power. So there's all those possibilities there as well. What I particularly like to imagine, though, because it's the completion of a 9-month cycle, is letting go of what's not needed for the beginning of the next cycle. And because we're globally in a 6 year, which is about love, home and family primarily, also about personal responsibility, this month is a greater opportunity to let go of resentment, frustration, bitterness, hurt, anger that you might be feeling towards others because of the way they've treated you. And also letting go of disappointments in yourself. We humans can be stubborn creatures, and we can hold on to things that happened a long time ago. We can have the best intentions to forgive, but some things, both that we have done and that others have done, can seem truly unforgivable. I like to believe that we live in a compassionate universe that wants us to explore and experience everything. So in some ways, on one level, nothing is wrong. It's all a learning and a growth experience. At the same time, of course, when something horrible happens to us or we do something horrible to someone else, that creates a lot of wounding, a lot of hurt that needs to be healed as well. And glossing over it and pretending it hasn't happened or it's not there is not going to make it go away. It's going to drive it underground, and it's likely to pop up in a different form. For example, if we've been harboring anger towards someone for something that they've done, when some other similar feeling situation arises, that can trigger the anger that's not even appropriate for that situation. And I love that saying, which I can't remember perfectly how it goes, but it's along the lines of holding on to anger or hatred or resentment is like having poison and drinking it yourself. We're inclined to think when we get caught up in our emotions, and well, we sort of don't think, but we act as though our anger towards them is affecting them, but it's us that's got the poison of the anger circulating in our body. And sometimes actions can seem unforgivable. Forgiving the person can feel much more achievable. A person who acted from an unconscious place, an unaware place, from a place of their own pain. After all, hurt people. Whatever their intention, what matters is how it's affecting you. If you're feeling some reaction in yourself to something that someone has done, it's your responsibility to get yourself to a better feeling place. It's not someone else's job to make us feel good. It's really hard to accept that, and we can want them to apologize, we can want them to acknowledge. Some people are not capable of that. That's not on their agenda for this lifetime. And if we spend our whole lives resenting not getting that apology or that acknowledgement, we're the ones that are hurting ourselves. The forgiveness can sometimes be really difficult, but holding the intention to let it all go and revisiting it from time to time with that intention, the universe is always going to be conspiring to help us to heal. The universe has our back when it comes to healing. And so remembering we have that support, that guidance and that protection, then healing anything is possible when we bring clear intention. And if we can't bring clear intention, we can ask for help to clear the blocks to having clear intention. So healing is all about starting where you're at. And so it can be starting with I don't want to forgive this person. Please help me to release that resistance to forgiving. Please help me let go of what's happened in the past in authentic ways, not just letting it go in our heads, but a whole-bodied clearing. We know when we've truly forgiven someone for an action that they've taken, that we can remember what happened dispassionately, not because we're suppressing the emotions, but because it feels a little bit numb, or it feels a little bit as though it happened to someone else, or it feels really remote. There's a completely different feeling that comes from having an embodied releasing, so a disembodied, letting it go out of your body, not just out of your thoughts, letting it go out of every cell in your body. It creates a disconnect from the wounding and a neutrality around it. Yes, it happened, but it's not still impacting me, and it's not running my life. That's what we're aiming for. So I'd like to do a little healing exercise around that now. So thinking, maybe we'll do two. Let's start with thinking of something that you regret, something that you feel deeply embarrassed or ashamed about, something you might even feel mortified about, something that you'd like to be able to forgive yourself for, but feel it's unforgivable. And I suspect we all have moments like that, memories like that. So now just gently closing your eyes. And if the memory is too painful or too intense, just take a step back from it and imagine if it was a movie, whatever it was that happened, what title would you give to the movie? It might be that big mistake, or that time I really regret. And so just having a memory of what the movie was about. And noticing we always feel or store our thoughts and feelings in our bodies. That's part of the chemistry of our brain. We have receptors in our bodies that receive the appropriate chemicals that are produced by our brain as a result of thoughts and emotions. So just tuning into your body and asking your body, where in your body are you holding this disappointment in yourself, this shame, this memory about something that you did that you'd like to be able to forgive yourself for? And if it feels unforgivable, just acknowledging that and maybe noticing where that judgment is in your body. That sense of, I will never forgive myself for this. And just allowing the space for that memory to be there. Allowing the thoughts that arise about that memory, and especially allowing the feelings to arise. And then if you feel able, acknowledging your willingness to let this go, that maybe you've been blaming yourself for long enough. Maybe you've been punishing yourself for long enough. Maybe it's time to extract from this memory the gifts that you've learnt from it, the lessons that you've learnt from it, that make it less likely that you will do that again. And so often things that we are so disappointed in ourselves about for what we've done, we could only learn that that's not something we want to do by first experiencing doing it and experiencing the consequences of doing it. Mistakes, as we call them, are wonderful ways to learn. So often when things go right, as we call it, we take it for granted. When things don't turn out the way we'd like them to, then we stop and look and listen at what we can learn from it. And then we can start also feeling shame. So I'd like to suggest that you start imagining, saying thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the pain of the shame. Thank you for, maybe there's also anger and frustration towards yourself. There might be hatred or self-loathing. Just acknowledging all those feelings. They've all been true and authentic and real for you. So this is about being honest. Thank you for these feelings that I've felt. Thank you for how fully I have felt them. Acknowledging the reality of all of this wounding. And then affirming your willingness, if possible, to let it go. And if that feels impossible, you could imagine offering this whole burden up to the universe or the divine source, whatever you like to think of that higher power as, saying, I'm handing over this burden to you. Please lift it from me. Can you bring forgiveness to something that I cannot forgive myself for? Can you love, guide, and support and protect me in my resistance to forgiving myself? And even if it feels as though nothing is happening, just being open to the possibility that some forgiveness is taking place from within you or from beyond you, which is also within you. And while we're in releasing mode, thinking also of a person who you'd like to be able to forgive. Let yourself feel the feelings that come up about the actions that they took. We're not talking about forgiving the actions. We're talking about forgiving the person who in their unawareness or their own wounding acted in that way. And again, acknowledging the emotions that have been generated within you as a consequence. Thanking those emotions for being there, thanking your body for how it's responded to that hurt, that it didn't say, it's fine that I was treated like that, but instead it felt the sadness or the hurt or the frustration, anger, hatred. So saying thank you for those emotions that are part of being alive and affirming your willingness to let them go too. handing that wounding over to the divine, asking for it to be lifted from you, asking for the gift of forgiveness and the freedom that comes with letting go. So you might imagine that these old hurts are drifting up into the cosmos. You might like to imagine they're draining down into the earth. You might like to just visualize them dissolving away. And thirdly, thinking of someone whom you have hurt. And sending your acknowledgement and your apology to them, seeking their forgiveness without any expectation or need to receive it. Simply acknowledging on that higher plane the harm that you've caused and the regret that you feel about it. And so, with that releasing that's been taking place, now let's invite in unconditional love and compassion. You might like to think of it flowing down in through the top of your head, beautiful golden shower of love, compassion, and healing, having it permeate your whole body, right down to the tips of your toes, tips of your fingers. So your whole being, your whole energy, your whole essence is permeated with unconditional love for self, for others, for all that is, permeated with compassion, with caring and kindness. Every cell in your body, every fibre of your being receiving this loving kindness till your whole body is overflowing and it's radiating out from you in every direction, so that you are sending love, compassion, healing out across the planet. It's receiving that love, even though you may feel unworthy or unlovable. Just being open and willing to receive the love that is being bestowed upon you by the Goddess. You might like to affirm to yourself, I am willing to receive this unconditional love. even if I feel unworthy of it. I'm willing to receive this compassion. I am open and receptive to loving kindness. And just taking a deep breath or two, starting to come back. You might like to have a stretch, wriggle your toes, just to feel your way back into your body again. You also might like to give permission for this beautiful flow of healing energy to continue for as long as is appropriate, even if you're not paying attention to it. Excuse me. So if you're in a 9-month, you might like to repeat that practice a few times. You might like to apply it to some other situations. Also, 9 is so much about cleansing and purifying. And so it's a really good time for you to be cleaning out cupboards, cleaning out your car, cleaning out any spaces, cleaning out your purse, cleaning out your computer, getting rid of old files, having a real old tidy up. And symbolically, you're cleaning out mentally, emotionally, and behaviourally as well, and creating space for April, which is going to be a time for new beginnings. So as I was saying before, so interesting that this last day of the month, which so often I find can be an intense day, because it's as though there's a divine calendar. And if there's anything that we haven't, the energy of each month guides us with opportunities to work with that energy to grow with the gifts that it brings us. And if there is a divine calendar, we get to the last day of the month, and if there's still some growth or learning or healing to take place, then that can get put in our laps rather firmly. And so I often notice that the last day of the month, I feel a bit weighed down, because there's something weighing me down that wants to be acknowledged and set free before we roll into the energy of the new month. So the fact that this last day of the month is also a 9-day, and we're about to go into a 9-month, is a real sort of intensifying of energies to support us in clearing the space for the new beginning next month. So I find that kind of neat. Interestingly, astrologically, I don't think there are any planets retrograde at the moment, and won't be through March, I think into April, maybe May. I'm not an astrologer. However, there is something happening between Mars and Venus, which, of course, being Mars and Venus, is putting the spotlight on relationships. And so numerology is sort of saying March is a great time for letting go of stuff around relationships, letting go relationships that are no longer relevant, or appropriate. There might be some relationships, and it doesn't have to be romantic, it can be friendships or work colleagues, that have not been entirely comfortable, but you've been tolerating them. And in this month, in March, and in what's happening astrologically with Mars and Venus, you might find yourself saying, no, this is not tolerable anymore. It is time to let this relationship go. It's no longer serving me. So that's something to keep in mind. There's, in a lot of ways, there's a forward momentum taking place, and there's certainly in April new beginnings globally, forward momentum. But already astrologically, there's that impact, except around relationships where there's a lot of disruption, is my understanding. So clean up your relationships, clean out your cupboards, clean out. It's a great time to let go of addictive behavior, like addictions around food or alcohol or shopping. Yes, ending patterns of blame or shame, letting go of uncomfortable emotions that have been hanging around. All of that is really supported in being released through April for everyone. Let's now, though, move on to get down to the specifics. So that's if you're in a 6th personal year. And remember the formula that I took you through at the beginning, adding together the day and month of your birth with 2022, or 6, which is what 2022 adds up to. That was what I was saying then applies to people who their number ended up being a 6 when they added everything up. If your personal year number, those adding up those dates, came to a 7, then you're in a spiritual year. You're in a year that is really an opportunity for you to connect more deeply with your sacred self, with the universe, the divine, whatever you choose to call it or think of it. This is your year to deepen your connection. So it's a really good year for going within, and you're likely to feel more inclined to be in nature than be around people in a 7 year. And this month for you is new beginnings. So it's quite likely that there's been something you've been wanting to start for a while, but the time hasn't been right, or the energies haven't been supporting you in that. I think you're going to find that you get some forward momentum. It's also likely to be, again, a bit of, well, as I say, the whole year you're going to feel a little bit hermity, because it's much easier to deepen our connection with the universe when we go within and connect in that way than when we're surrounded by other people and socializing and so forth. The 1 month also brings a desire to be alone, because 1 is all about self. It's about getting in touch with what's the truth of who I am, what's the truth of what I want, what's the truth of where I'm going, what's the truth of my passion and purpose for this lifetime, which is very much what that 7 year is about. What is the truth? Not the truth of my personality, not the truth that my mind would like to believe, but what is truth in alignment with universal laws, and what action are they drawing me to take? Because the 1 energy is also action oriented. So a month to spend time alone, to tune in, to ask to be guided, to be asked to be shown what is the next step for me to take. What is the direction I'm moving in? And it might be a general direction, but the key thing is, what is the best next step for me to take in the direction that I feel guided to? And if that's not clear, ask to be shown. Make it a daily practice. Show me the direction, show me the next step. Clear any blocks or resistances that I have to knowing the next best step. Okay, if you're in an 8 personal year this year, then this month, March, is going to be about 2. And also, just going sideways for a moment, there's an undercurrent to March of creativity and fun as well. So if you're in an 8 year, 8 is about finding power and strength and resilience that you didn't know you had. So it's a year when you're likely to feel more gutsy and more inclined to take action on a big scale. It's also a great year for starting a new business, or for getting a senior management or executive role in a big organisation. but whatever, you are likely to feel stronger, to have the strength and the courage to take action around something in your life that's needing you to step up to the mark. The focus for you will be on partnerships, on connections, on wanting peace and harmony in your interactions with others. Two energy is really peace loving. It's the most emotional of all the energies, and the emotions of peace and love and joy are the key emotions that we like to feel. It can also at the same time bring up issues around some uncomfortable emotions, especially shame. Where the 1 month was a very action-oriented month, starting something new. The 2 month is more consolidating what was previously begun and attending to the details. In the 1 month, it might have been sort of fleshing out a plan and identifying the key steps that need to be taken, getting clear about the goals. In the 2 month, it's fleshing that plan out, getting down to the details of how the plan is going to be implemented. So it is a really good month for resolving conflicts because there is this desire for peace. It's also the 2 energy very much finds a joy in doing the work behind the scene or being the supporter to someone else who's leading the way. It's a very diplomatic energy. It's very concerned with the rights and needs of everyone. It's wanting to bring equity to situations. So it's a treading softly month and bringing consideration and cooperation and harmony to your interactions. If you're in a 9-year this year, it's a really significant year. The universe will be really supporting you in this year because it's the end of a 9-year cycle. Next year, you go into a 1 year and you begin a whole new 9-year cycle. So what's no longer needed at the completion of this 9-year cycle will be released in the 8-year, in the 9-year, and if there are any dregs left in the 1 year, the following year as well. So this is the year when marriages can end, when jobs can end, or roles at work can be changed completely, where you live can come to an ending, whether it's the physical building or the place, the town or the state. It can be really quite huge, and if you're fearful around that, then it can also be a bit uncomfortable. There's a real opportunity when we're being asked to let go, to trust in the divine, to trust that life is unfolding exactly the way it needs to, that if we hold on to what we've had in the past, it's no longer going to be a fit. We're going to be out of alignment with it. And it's going to become more and more uncomfortable. And that if we take this step forwards into the new 9-year phase, huge opportunities for soul growth and expansion, which ultimately is why we're here. And we will stay in alignment then with what's being presented and what's lining up for us. Okay, so a very important year for you. And remember, therefore, your intuition is on high volume to really help you in knowing what's asking to leave and what's needing to stay to continue to support you. So for the 9-year, you're in a 3 months, and 3 is the month for expanding out into the world. Remember I said the 2 energy, which the 8-year people are in, is attending to the details of the plan that's been initiated. Well, if you're in that 3 month, the details have been attended to. We've filled in the gaps The whole plan is there now, and there can be a branching out. 3 is such an expansive energy. It's about being really inspired to put yourself out there, inspired to be creative, inspired to express yourself, and inspired to bring joy into the world. And so in this 9 year, in that 3 energy, also letting go of what might be stopping you, what might be blocking you from living that inspiration and putting it out there. So the time to play and to have fun, the time to socialize and brainstorm ideas, brainstorm your dreams, write down your dreams, the visions that you've got for the future. It really is a great time for the 3 is it's sort of about the emotions, the thoughts and the intuitions. It's not about the body. So it's heart and mind and spirit, but not physicality. So don't let the practical get in the way of you being inspired. If you're in a 1 year, you've come across that bridge between the old 9-year cycle and the new 9-year cycle. There may still be some things that are a bit uncomfortable that are asking you to leave, that you might be let go, you might be resisting a bit. Remembering too that anything that we let go of that we're meant to be keeping will come back in some way. We don't lose anything forever if we're not meant to have it. So yes, if you're in the 1 year, the new beginnings and the letting go of any remnants. And for you, March is a 4 months, so it's putting down solid foundations after the 3 energy that you had last month in February, or this month, the end of this month. Now in March for you, it's going to be doing the work. It's going to be being more disciplined, more organized, more practical, and setting some goals, setting some intentions, and working systematically towards those goals. And it may and bringing some creativity into that still, because we do have this creative energy through March as well. And you may not see the rewards so much of your efforts, because it is foundations. And if you think of the foundations of a house, they're just potential and a really important basic structure, but there's not much sign of the house as yet. And so it's trusting that is coming, because next month you'll be in a 5 month, which is where everything changes. And so that's the case for people who are in a 2 personal year. They're in a year of building connections, interactions, finding greater peace and harmony within, greater cooperation in their relationships with others, deepening their intuition, deepening their gentleness and kindness. This is also a month for things to change. So you might have been doing the work last month, but in March, you can reap the rewards of the efforts that you've put in, and anything is possible. So the 5 months also really brings a strong desire for variety, for adventure, for travel, for meeting new people, doing new things, going to new places, wanting to break free of any ways in your life in which you're feeling trapped or stuck or blocked. You're likely to be very aware and resistant to anything that feels as though it's holding you down. And the catch cry for that 5 energy is, don't trap me, set me free. I want freedom. So there can be a real branching out, a bit like with the 3 energy. This is more wholehearted. Also, it can bring interactions with the public through reports or communications or through speaking or social media, whatever. It's a very reaching out to people, not in such a deep way, more in a bulk way, reaching out to a lot of people in some way or connecting with a lot. If you're in a 3 personal year, this is your year for really connecting with your creative self, with yourself that really wants to expand and experience and explore and be playful. And you're in a 6 months, so this is likely to bring a focus on family and responsibility, and taking more responsibility for yourself. What might you be blaming others for, or waiting for someone else to do for you or fix for you, that in actual fact is your responsibility, not someone else's job? And if they were to step in and help you with that, it would actually be disempowering for you, not beneficial for you. So there's likely to be a focus on family, whether it's your immediate family or your extended family, and your home environment, and a real desire for domestic harmony. Often health matters can come up when we're in a 6 month, so it's a really good time to address that sort of thing as well. And given that we're in a 6 year globally, that's likely to underpin the significance of that home and family and loving energy. And that meditation healing that we did at the beginning of the call could be very relevant. If you're in a 4 year, then this is a year of really developing self-discipline and belief in yourself through putting in the work, working systematically towards your goals, doing what needs to be done, which might require asking for more self-discipline, asking for more determination, asking for skills, better skills around being structured and organised, for example. And you will be in a 7 month. So it's going within, and actually the 4 and the 7 are 2 numbers that work together quite nicely, because the 4 is very grounded and practical, and the 7 energy is about the sacred. So this is a month where you can go within and connect more deeply with the truth of who you are, build your trust in yourself and in the divine, and bring more of a merging of that. You know, you could, for example, develop some practices, a routine, even a simple practice like meditating for 5 minutes each morning, or saying some prayers, or doing some journaling each morning. Just a 4 really likes and thrives on routine, and the 7 is about the connection with your sacred self. So it would be a really good month to set up practices around that. If you're in a 5 year, everything is up for change this year, and it can get a little bit chaotic. So do ground yourself, tune in like we did in that little guided meditation at the beginning. Come back into your body, or you can get very scattered because there can be a lot of busyness taking place this year, and anything could change, and the unexpected can arise at any time. Some anger can come up because it's a bit of a rebellious energy too, which sometimes we just need that rebellious energy to help us to break free of what's been trapping us. And you're in an 8 months, so this is 8 is the most powerful of all the energies. 8 is a very strong energy. This is the energy that's the life path of people who are CEOs in multinational corporations, for example. So this is your gutsy month. If there's something you've been putting off because it's too scary, now's the time to do it. This is an energy that's often about real estate or legal matters. It's about big money, big organizations. Anything in that area, you're really supported in it. Have fun with that. And so if you remind yourself from time to time through each month, keep reminding yourself, what's the energy I'm in this month? It can help you to understand what you're experiencing. So for example, if you wake up one morning and you're feeling a little bit down, if it's a 9 month, what is it I'm needing to release? If it's a 1 month, is there something I'm afraid of beginning that's sort of holding me down and making me want to procrastinate? If you're in a 3 month, is something stopping me from expressing myself? Or do I need to get out and have more fun? Because this is a month that's very much about being fun loving. So it can really help you to know sort of what colour. It's like if each number does have a colour. If you could think of it as, okay, which coloured glasses do I need to look at this month through? Is this a month for knuckling down and doing the work, or is this my lucky month for playing and having fun? The former being a 4 and the latter being a 3. Is this a month for navel gazing? And am I feeling a bit tired because I'm out being too busy? And I'm in a 7 month and it's a month of seeking stillness and going within, so I can get more in touch with myself and my sacred self. So it really can help us when we encounter blocks to understand what it might be that's happening. And when we've got momentum, can guide us as to which direction we let that momentum carry us. You know, if we're in a 5 month and we've got momentum, it's likely to be breaking free from old ways of feeling trapped and getting out there and communicating more and maybe mixing with the public in some capacity. So it can really help us. I use the energies of the month numbers and the year numbers to really help me to understand what I'm experiencing and gain more clarity, which clarity is such a gift. When we can see clearly, decision making can be that much more effective and that much more in alignment with what is wanting to come through for us. As well as that, if you know what your life path number is, what your soul's desire number is, what your gifts and talents number is, taking notice of, are any of those numbers also what my month number is? So if you're in a 7 month and 7 is also your life purpose number, then this is a really good opportunity for me to take a bigger step forwards in my life purpose. Or if the 7's your gifts and talents, in developing my gifts and talents. So there's all sorts of ways that the numbers can really support us because they do provide a blueprint for our life. And that blueprint has been generated by our soul, which chose when it wanted us to be born, told our parents what names it wanted us to have, having chosen all of that beforehand, and then that is represented in our blueprint, our chart that's made based on our name and date of birth. All right. So let's just come back into ourselves, just creating a little bit of space inside yourself to receive more fully what you might have learnt tonight, letting it land in your body, not just in your head. Any key things that stood out for you from what we've been saying. Letting yourself feel that more fully in your body now. When something is embodied, has a much deeper impact than when it's just thoughts in our heads. Okay, I'll leave you all with that. I hope you have a fabulous March under that 9 umbrella, and I'll see you next month. Bye for now.